America's Got Talent is officially back, celebrating the 20th season, and let me tell you, the season premiere was absolutely superb. We had so many strong acts in the premiere, from singers to dancers to variety. We had two golden buzzers on this week's premiere episode, and one of them, I honestly think we may have found the winners of this year's show. A little hint on what type of act it is, just on that sentence alone. But anyways, we got a lot to talk about in this week's recap and review of America's Got Talent episode 1. So let's get straight into the video. So yes, folks, as you guys know by now, yesterday was the premiere of America's Got Talent for season 20, the 20th anniversary, meaning basically it's made it to 20 seasons, which is absolutely crazy. And, I got feeling like just you just know that they're going to pull out all the stops for this upcoming season, and this premiere episode has definitely shown quite a lot of promise so far, in my opinion. So as the judges and host wise, we have Terry back, we've got Simon back, Howie back, Sophia back, but we have a returning panelist from, you may remember, from season 13, and then she made another return in Fantasy League, with that being the wonderful Mel B, which honestly is great to see her back on the panel. I've always loved her banter between her and Simon, which I've always liked. But honestly, I can't wait to see what the rest of the season produces, because I think this was a great premiere episode, and I just really enjoyed the acts, and one of the golden buzzers this year, this week actually, absolutely blew me away, which we'll get onto just a little bit later on. But I think without any talking, we should just get straight into the video right now. So kicking off, we had the first act of the season, of the night, basically, with Eric Brooker, who is a beverage chugger, which basically, as you can hear in the title, what he did. So basically, he's a professional beverage chugger and competitive eater from Queens, New York, good old New York. And he's also a retired subway conductor, and he currently holds 7 major league rating world records, which is absolutely crazy. So, but while this was the first edition of the series, this was still an absolute disaster. Not disaster, but it was pretty stomach turning, to say the least. So basically, what he did was he basically chugged a bunch of. So basically, he had 4 items, being pickle juice, hot dog water, cream corn, whatever the heck that was, but it really sounded grim, and probably the worst one, hot sauce. And he also provided provided each of the judges like portions of it in like slot in shot glasses, like you take shots, basically if you know you know, but on this was very grim to watch. Just watching it, and also because I'm not a fan of that type of stuff, and just watching it, it really just turned me stomach around quite a few times, literally, because that type of stuff really is just I could not watch this act whatsoever. It was just madness, to say the least. Like, I just cannot watch it. My stomach was literally turning inside out watching the whole point, to the point like I wasn't even watching it. I was but you can tell Simon was clearly enjoying it, because Simon is Simon, and he loves these wacky type of acts. And Melby actually buzzed his buzzer, I believe. So basically, she basically ruined the fun for all of it. So, but yeah, while he does seem like a nice guy, unfortunately, this did not turn out to be a very good act. So, good on you, Eric, for giving it a go, but it sadly wasn't your time this season. Next up, we had Team Recycled, who are a dance group all the way from Germany, all the way from Berlin, Germany. And if you remember, I actually, in my kind of like first look of the season, I mentioned these guys. They were actually shown in a clip on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where Mel B was interviewed on there, and they basically showed a portion of this act, which was amazing. But we'll talk to more, I guess, more inspection if we can. So basically, it started off with a bunch of members, kind of. Hang on. Oops, hang on. Sorry about that. So basically, they basically kind of appeared to be rather small, as in they introduced themselves. There's a few members on the stage, and they did their dance routine, and they did their thing, and I thought, think to myself, okay, no, this isn't pretty. This is decent. This is pretty cool. Then after their little portion at the beginning, it went to the where the judges were sitting. Like there was like where the chairs were. There was more members, and oh my god, let me tell you how brilliant this was. Like so, basically doing synchronized movements. They basically did just it was just so cool to see, and just the way they did the routine was amazing. But for me, what made this routine even better was when they dimmed the lights and they had glow sticks. And oh my god, if I were to describe how cool this was, it would be indescribable. It was absolutely just epic when I was watching this. It was just so good, So they did that, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh my god, this was just," and it was incredible. And then they finished off with back on the stage with the members, kind of doing like a dance again, like kind of basically doing their routine, and that was also just amazing. But Mel B was actually a bit critical with them, which I definitely do not agree with. She mentioned that basically that the choreography at the start was boring, and it wasn't for the switch around. She would have basically just turned it off. Well, not literally, but she would have just turned off completely. Which I think the judges even said it. That was part of the act, got to build it up. So, I personally disagree with what Mel was saying, because I think that the first part, I was actually part of that to kind of build it up in a way. But once we got this portion with the members in the audience doing the routine, and then with the glow sticks, it was absolutely just, I thought it was just phenomenal. And just the way the synchronicity, the how synchronized this group were, I just thought were amazing. It was just so fresh and so slick, so classy. I just I just disagree. I definitely disagree with what Mel was saying here, because I thought it was just incredible. And honestly, it's such a unique kind of dance act that I haven't really seen before. The only like kind of dance I remember seeing something a bit like this was Murmuration back in season 18. So 2023 was the first year I did agency, and I mean, like I mean, and the glow sticks, that would involved in performance was something I was not even expecting, but for me it made it even better. And I think so far, and I know they're the only really the dance group on the premiere, so it's hard to make a fair statement. But I do think they've got a real shot making it very far, and I hope, and I just know they're going to prove. I know they're going to prove Mel wrong, because I thought these guys were just amazing. But also, I do agree with the other judges saying, so Harry mentioned that it grew and grew and grew, and they used more of the stage. It was the room, and so Sophia mentioned that it was spectacular, and Simon mentioned this is how to achieve great things while doing great things, and it basically turned into an event, which I completely agree with. It was amazing. So honestly, I really hope we see these guys go far in the competition. I could definitely see them being kind of like underdogs in the competition. I just think they're amazing. This was just an amazing, amazing performance. So good on them. Next up, we had Zach Mers, who is a magician, and having a magician on the first episode was which I'm very happy about. So, I need to get him up quickly. So, bear with me, folks. So Zach Mers, he's a magician. Where basically he's a first generation American, as his parents basically immigrated from Iran to Afghanistan, and Zach was one. He sadly lost his father, and he now lives in Dallas, Texas. So he's a magician, and he was actually on Penn and Teller for us, which if you don't know who Penn and Teller are, they are magic duo, very talented duo, and they've done so many shows together. So basically, he did was he performed a magic routine, basically talking about his experience as a father and having each of the judges roll a wooden dice, basically. So, wasn't dice. It was basically rolling a wooden playing cube and to either different items or colors before having the judges and the audience both in the studio and at home. So, and he also interacted. He also interacted with the audience at home. Basically, the cameraman was there, and he was speaking to the cameraman, which I really liked as well. That he not only included, the studio audience, but also the people watching at home was really good. And to point at something that matched the criteria of each object displayed on the screen, and they did even show it on the big screen where the stage is as well, which was very cool. But and then basically, where am I? Basically, did that, and then in turn with the aim of them all landing on a red teddy bear before revealing all the judges' choices corresponded with the word bear for each. But the initials of the words were taken into account before basically climaxing his performance, finishing off by opening his daughter's birthday present early, which was indeed a teddy bear. And I absolutely love this as well. I love seeing magicians on the show, and I think what I liked about this performance is that um, I think not only he's a really good magician, but you can tell how good you can just tell how much of a good dad he is as well to his daughter, which is lovely. Also, what I liked about it is he not only interacted with the studio audience and the judges, but also the people watching at home, which I don't think I've seen before, for especially for a BGT audition. The fact he basically kind of is basically having us watching at home getting involved with the act, which I thought was very cool. And I just absolutely loved it. And Sophia mentioned that that she loves the whole story that he created around his magic, and they could feel it. Howie mentioned that there's been three magicians that have won the show, which is we've had Matt Franco, Dustin Novella, Shin Lim, and he thought he took it to the next level basically. And I think definitely in the magic category he is definitely someone I could see being a bit of a dark horse, I guess, in the competition. And I absolutely loved this act as well. It was really lovely. And especially last year we didn't have any magicians in the final. Well, no, actually no, we did have a magician in the final. It was Solange Cardinari, the quick change artist. So yeah, I would consider her a magician. But I still thought this was a beautiful. I think, and again, the way he told the story was really lovely, and again, you can tell how much of a great dad he is, and it really was just a wonderful audition, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Now we talk about the first golden buzzer of the season, with that being Simon, basically Simon pressing it for multimedia dance group Lightwire, who are a multimedia group from Brazil. And let me just say this now, folks. I think we're already looking at the winners of season 20 right here, right now, folks. Because this was just another level. So, this was basically founded in Brazil by two brothers and their best friend. They're basically buying LED displays and light up dancers to create unique works and unlike ever before. And basically, they did a routine, basically paying tribute to the Amazon rainforest. Basically, as the Amazon rainforest is, of course, is in the I can't remember basically they basically included them performing a light up dance routine where the dancers, as you can see here, basically where the dancers take the forms of jungle animals and portray them at a carnival, and just the whole. I mean, which of course it's called the Golden Buzzer. And let me tell you, I think this is one of the best acts I think I've ever seen on America's Got Talent ever. And it takes a lot for me to say that because there's been so many amazing acts over the years, especially for the variety aspect. But this was just absolutely sensational. And not only they, I also just I mentioned this as well. I did mention it, but just because not only I think it's so clever how these guys are able to do this with technology, LED, and the choreography as well. And it's all about the timing and position about everything, but the way they told the story throughout the whole app, it was just mesmerizing. Like some of those, like, like, what do you call it? Like displays, I was like thinking to myself, no way that's real. Like it was that good. And the dancers were just amazing. The dancing was amazing, and just honestly, this is the type of act I honestly feel could win the whole show, and I think this would be perfect for Vegas. I would go and pay money to see this group in Vegas. It's just absolutely phenomenal how these guys were able to do what they did. It's just outstanding. This honestly, I truly do think these guys have set the bar so high for this season, and I would be amazed if they're not at least in the top five because I think this is literally the type of act I strongly believe could win the whole show. I know that's so much. It's only episode one, but it's just these guys are just amazing. And Simon even mentioned it's one of the most stunning acts he's ever seen on Got Talent, and I completely agree. It was just and then paying tribute to the Amazon rainforest was just wonderful. The just it was. I've been. I'm gonna try on. I'm gonna try and not talk about this too much, but I just thought these guys were just amazing. It was just absolutely superb from start to finish, and it's one of those acts that that leaves you wanting more. And honestly, these guys, again, I think they've set the bar really high for this season, and I cannot wait to see what they bring next. So this was a superb golden buzzer, and I cannot wait to see them in the live shows. So well deserved. Then we had so the next that we had was Micah Palace, who is a DJ and rapper, which I thought which I wasn't expecting, because when I first saw him in the lineup, I thought he was a singer, but he's actually a rapper. So he basically does music. He's released music on YouTube and Spotify, all that jazz. And he basically performed his original song rap called No Saba about basically his experience in growing up in a Argentina household located within Connecticut because he's actually from Connecticut, but I guess he's Argentina, like you know, if I guess. But so basically, it was a very, coming from someone who isn't a massive rap fan, or kind of this type of act. I thought he was actually really good, and what I liked about the way he did the rapping and not only the rapping and the DJing, but the way he kind of entertained the crowd and he involved the crowd as well, which is really cool and it's something I always want to see in a performer, especially something like this. I would love seeing contestants kind of get the crowd involved, and it was absolutely amazing. It was honestly really because I wasn't too sure when it first started. I was like, okay, am I gonna like this? It's best based him doing kind of like DJing, and but once he started singing and rapping, I was like, okay, I'm down for this. It was a really good first audition as well, and I do think he's got a lot of promise, and I could see him doing pretty well in the competition, and we'll go on from there basically. But I still thought this was a great audition, and I can't wait to see what he does next. So next up we had Amodo Diallo, aka Elastic Boy, who is a contortionist. He's actually part of a duo known called the Elastic Boys, but he auditioned as just a solo act today, which is fine. He did by himself. That's okay. But I actually never knew he was actually part of a duo, which was pretty interesting. So what he did was basically he did a contortion routine to Pitbull's "Time of Our Lives." I don't really listen to Pitbull by just for context. But he's from Africa and he has his extreme flexibility far beyond what the judges have seen on the show. Basically, he had them basically, and the audience literally screaming as he bent himself in half, popped out of his rib cage, he even moved his throat at one point, and even had Mel B hold onto his wrist while he twisted himself around many times, and it was what again. I have to say, I'll say this now. Watching contortionists on the show really giving me the ick, but at the same time, they're absolutely fantastic. If that makes sense, I don't know if that makes sense or anything, but it was really it was so entertaining. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Um, Mel mentioned that she didn't think that anyone had seen anything like that, and she thought it was unbelievable. Sophia mentions that she was in shock that he took it to another level, and Simon said they had never seen anything like that in his life, and everyone's gonna be talking about it when they see it. And I totally agree with the judges saying, because I think while I'm not the biggest contortion fan, I never have been, um, but I still thought he was absolutely fantastic. What he was capable of doing, with the contortion, and just how he did it was amazing. So it was very entertaining. But basically, he was brilliant. While not my favorite act ever, he was still really, really good. And I just thought he was just I just thought he was amazing. What he was able of doing was absolutely just amazing. So I got to give him credit for that. While again, like I mentioned, while it may not have been my personal favorite, I can still give him credit for that. And yeah, I got to give him credit for what he was doing, because what he was able of doing was really good. So good on him. Then we had arguably the worst of the nights, being Marty and Michael, who are from Australia, and you know they basically did like kind of perform like a jackass routine, like stunts, hitting each other with wrists and bungee cords, and unfortunately their tricks basically didn't really hold the judges' attention. And Simon basically said he was disappointed by the act, but what we'll say is at least they're having fun, I guess. But you know, watching this act, it was just like, what are we watching? Because normally watching Jackass on the show is kind of like, okay, where's this gonna go? But at the same time, it's just I couldn't watch it. It was just so bad. Like it came to the point where I was like, what on earth was I watching? Like it was just so stupidity in a way. But yeah, and that's what I have to say to that. Honestly, I just don't know what else to say other than it was just easily the worst act of the night, and just yeah, that's all I can say about it. It was just absolutely horrific to say the least. Then we had the second golden buzzer of the premiere being from Howie, which was given to Jordan Blue, who is a singer from New Orleans, Louisiana. And he mentioned that his mum was a cop and his dad was a lawyer, and basically he believed that this may have corrupted his rebellious streak in his teenage years. And basically he according to his background, he basically kind of fell into the wrong crowd, was kicked out of school, leading him to he actually ended up being homeless as well, according to one reading here. Sofa surfing, it just really sad stuff. And also his grandpa was basically on FaceTime when he watched his audition, which was really lovely. And he mentioned, I don't know if it's going to say it, it says it here, and he has a son, he has a girlfriend and a son called Jax. And he also mentioned that he was involved in a tragic attack which happened when he was busking early in the year. He basically became more motivated by the realization that life is too short and not to chase his dreams. And that's definitely a very moving statement, as I think it is very true that life can end up very shortly within a split second. You just don't know it. And so he performed the break even by the script. I absolutely love that song, and just I mean, he absolutely blew me away with this performance. Just his voice was absolutely fantastic. The rendition of that song, And I agree with what Mel said. Mel said this, and I was thinking the same thing. It felt like I was listening to that song for the first time ever. It was that good, and I'm a huge fan of the original version. But oh my god, I absolutely just loved this guy's voice. You can definitely hear the emotion, the passion, in his voice, and because not only his voice is incredible, it's absolutely incredible. But just I think the way he also just I guess like he's got such a husky tone to his voice, which I really like, and some of the very gravelly and just the way he delivered the song was absolutely just wonderful. So yeah, this was such a well deserved golden buzzer. I think, I mean, him and Livewire were easily the two best acts of the night, and both of them I could definitely see sneaking their way into at least the top five. At the minute, I think they're just absolutely amazing. Just honestly, his voice is just mind blowing. Like it's just, I think, I just seeing how much it meant to him getting that golden buzzer was wonderful, and how he even said, on that stage, dreams can come true, and I completely agree. I really wanted to see this young man go far in the competition. I think he's got so much potential. I absolutely love his voice. I really hope we do see him long term make it far because his voice is just chef's kiss. Absolutely love his voice. Some fantastic stuff. Just yeah, that's all I can say to that. Just amazing, amazing voice. A deserved golden buzzer as well. Just yeah, completely deserved all around. Then we had Jacqueline and Wagner, who are a aerial duo. Yeah, from well, Jacqueline's from Italy and Wagner's from Spain, and they basically met. Basically, they met each other when she was on the tour in the Circus de los Horrors. Can't pronounce that, so if I mispronunciation. But they basically met there, and again, there were another act that was shown as a teaser on the Tonight Show Jimmy Fallon. It was when Sophia was there, and they based did an area routine to Benson Boone's "Beautiful Things." We've all heard that song many times before, but they also did roller skating in this act as well, which I also loved that as well. And these not only these guys' chemistry together was fantastic, but the way they did the routine so elegantly, so gracefully, and it was just sensational from start to finish. Like no two words about it, no two ways about it. I mean, no, it was just watching the whole act just left me on the edge of my seat, especially when he had, I think, when he had the thing around his neck and he did that the kind of flying in the air. That really impressed me, and it's honestly watching this performance. Once wrong move, it could be a disaster. It really can be, and but it was just so beautiful to see the chemistry between the two, and just it was absolutely breathtaking from start to finish. It really was just a wonderful first audition. So Sophia basically mentioned that it felt like something really wrong was going to happen, but it was beautiful and exciting. Simon mentioned he felt like Jessica Rabbit better. He basically mentioned he felt like if Jessica Rabbit met a date and you said you're not going to do this, no, you were going to do this whether you like it or not, and that's what it was. So brilliant about it, and you know, and also and Mel thought it was brilliant, which I totally agree with. I love seeing aerialists on the show. I think, what I like about it as well, just that again, the chemistry between these two are really great, and I think just you know, and also having this kind of variety on the show is really exciting, and just honestly, I was just blown away by these guys. Again, there's quite a few acts I could definitely see making decently far in the competition, and once again, they're one of them. I think they're just wonderful together. They really are just a wonderful coupling together. Are they actually part? Are they actually like a duo? I don't think they're a couple or anything. I think they're like they work together, but regardless, this was absolutely fantastic to watch from start to finish, and just honestly, I would love to see these guys in the live shows just to see what else they bring, because I do think they've already got some serious potential to do really well, and so I'm hoping they do that. And I cannot wait to see what they bring in the live shows, as I just thought it was absolutely just amazing. And now we have the final act of the night, which was Sandy Larson, and who is a dancer and sword act, if that makes sense. Now, I must be honest with you guys, if I'm being totally blunt with you guys, I actually didn't know what to make of this act, as I just don't know. I just didn't really know what to like fully make of the like what was going on, if that makes some sort of sense. So she is 70 years old, from Tennessee, and Sandy basically surprised the judges with her sparkling personality and even sparkly outfit, because I mean, that's a lot of sparkles on that outfit. And she danced while balancing knives, which I thought was very impressive, actually, accompanied by her friends in the background. Now, it may not be the most technically, I have to say, I guess, ambitious or flawless act, but it had a lot of spirits, and it made the judges kind of happy and smile. But Melby wasn't a massive fan of the act. But in my opinion, I would say I was kind of in the middle, because I think what she was able of doing was pretty cool, but at some portion I was like, yeah, it kind of went over my head a little bit. If that makes sense. So I'm kind of two-minded with this performance, in my opinion. Sorry, Sophia mentioned that it was beautiful and it was a great finish. And Mel did say, "I think you're adorable," but she unfortunately said no to the act. Howie said, "I'm the same age as you, so I get it, because he's turning 70 very soon, and he stand with everyone my age showing up and having fun, having a good time." And I'll give her props for that. She definitely was having some fun. She was enjoying herself, which is always what we want to see on the show. So I mentioned that he loved it, and just show the fact the backup dancers were the best dancers in the world, but that's what made it brilliant. So while I can definitely see why I am personally two-minded about this, as I think it didn't really flow my boat, if you want to put it that way. So that's just my opinion on that. But I can see why she went through, but it would have been my ideal choice, if that makes sense. So good on her for making it through, but it wasn't necessarily my favourite act of the night, if that makes some sort of sense. But still, it was still a nice way to end off the night in that kind of persona, if that makes sense. But good on her for doing what she did. Good on her. So yeah, that is it for the season premiere of America's Got Talent season 20. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Your thoughts on the premiere, who your favorite acts, who did you like? Do you agree with the golden buzzer choices? Feel free to let me know that as well. But also, what are you guys excited for what this season has to bring? Because I think so far this season looks very promising. We've got some good acts so far. Team Recycled, Lightwire, Jordan, Zach, the Area Duo, and I thought it was a pretty solid premiere. Some solid acts, and I think two of them at least have definitely been in the finals of the show, I think, already. But yeah, it was a really nice episode, nice way to start the show, to kick off the premiere, and I really, really enjoyed it. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you thought about the premiere. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Post notifications on, I would really appreciate that. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.